BJ O'Neill here with the Business Coaching Success Podcast. So glad you're here, where I share with you strategies, tools, and tips to be able to grow your business coaching practice to six figures and beyond as a Christian business coach. Let's jump in. Hey, BJ O'Neill here. Welcome to the Business Coaching Success Podcast. Man, we're already starting to plow through 2024. And I've got an exciting message, I believe. And it comes from questions. I consistently get pretty much the same question around the topic that we're going to talk about that will likely spill over into multiple episodes. That is something we're going to work on in 2024. I get the question all the time, hey, man, could you do some shorter episodes? And so we're going to work on that. By the way, if you are watching on YouTube, would love for you to subscribe and leave a comment if you can. This helps get the word out if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite platform. You subscribing and leaving a rating. Those of you that, if you're a fan of leaving a rating, that could mean the world to us. It will help others hear the message. If you're getting value from this podcast, it would mean the world to us if you would do that. So here's the topic. Let me back up. Actually, it starts with a question. Hey, listen, I need quick success. That's the question I get in different ways. I need quick, what would I do to get clients quickly? What would I do to get success quickly? And there is an answer to that, by the way. Now, clearly there's other things you got to do other than one thing, but there is one. There is one that if you did it and you're consistent with it, you are going to be faster at success than others. Okay? And so I'm going to not only get my words out, not only am I going to talk about that one thing and go into detail of that one thing and give you things to, number one, consider, number two, that you can go and do today. I'm also going to give you some other content as well. Okay? Now, perhaps you are considering starting your business coaching practice as a believer. That's exactly who I work with. I work specifically with Christian men on giving them a done-for-you six-figure business coaching practice. That's what we do. Whole full-blown solution. If you would like to know more about that, we can talk about it. But the question always comes, I want to do this quickly. What would I do? All right? And so in doing that, it goes, our whole brand is Business Coach Mastery. And the reason why it's that is that as far as I'm concerned, in my perspective, my philosophy, the way I go about doing things, you have to have a mindset of mastery for things to go well and to do more than the average person, which, by the way, unfortunately today doesn't require much, truthfully. But here's the number one thing. The number one secret is in the power of numbers. Meaning, when you increase the quantity of what you're doing, you will be more successful than if you didn't, and you certainly are going to be more successful than somebody else. Wait, what do you mean, BJ? Let me explain. The power of numbers. Every single time, and I mean every single time, one of our coaches, we've got nearly 60 coaches all over, as far as of January 2024, I think somewhere 55, 58 coaches scattered around the country. Every single time I get a coach to say, hey man, I need to talk to you. I'm struggling, this, that, and the other. Every single time that I hear any kind of context about struggling, it's not where I want to be, I'm not getting clients fast enough. And when I ask the question, tell me about your daily activity getting with prospects. What does that quantity look like? Every single time I ask that question, I never get an answer. Oh, well, I've got, and then the train of excuses follow. Well, BJ, I don't understand. I have a full-time job too. I understand that very well. By the way, a lot of coaches start with a full-time job. So if you've only got 2 hours to devote, you need to plan out what can I do within that 2 hours? I've got 1 hour, 8 hours. Don't make the excuse if I don't have time. That's absolute hogwash. It is. You've got time, whether it's 1 hour a week or 30 hours a week, you've got time. But the quantity of your activity related to getting in front of prospects, I don't care if it's the phone, I don't care if it's text, I don't care if it's email, I don't care if it's networking, I don't care if it's lunches, I don't care if it's coffees, I don't care. If you increase the quantity of that activity, it's not rocket science, it's reality. Let me get into details. This happens all the time. So when I ask the question, so tell me, how many people do you reach out to every single day? I don't care about the channel. I don't care about your message right now. Just tell me, how many people do you reach out every single day? Well, here, there, whatever. It basically comes down to maybe 2, maybe 3. Let's just say that you are only reaching out to 3. By the way, it would be a failure. I don't mean to be mean or rude. I'm just being very frank. But if you went to 6, I'm telling you right now, things are going to change. Now, you need to have way more than that. So let's just say that you were dabbling. Someday I do 4 or 5. Someday I do none. Someday I do 10. If you were consistent with doing 50, your world will change. You will start getting clients consistently. You'll get into the 6 figures, 100,000, 150,000, 200,000, and then some. Because when you increase your load of activity, everything changes. Let's just use other things as perspective just so that we're all on the same page. The kid who wants to be a better basketball player, who increases his frequency of free throws and other types of shooting, practicing, whatever, drills is what I'm looking for. And if he only spends 1 hour a week, but he increases that to 3 hours a week, or if he's at 3 hours and he increases to 6, things will change. The guy who's playing golf, he plays 5 more times per month, things will change. Consistency and frequency is the absolute answer to how do I quickly, you get either on the phones, you get in front of network, you got to do something. You choose. Right now we're not talking about that. I'm going to go into that in just a moment. But you have to make a decision on the channels of how you're going to communicate, but you increase the frequency. So we'll use just a simple one. Let's just use the phone. Oh, I don't like cold calling. Which is perspective. This is perspective. If you're only making 10 calls a day to a list of people, and you didn't change anything, like your script or your message could stink. But if you increased it from 10 to 30, things will change. You can actually take a very mediocre, even just junky process, even if it's transactional, which I'm not a fan of. Even if it was, if you went from 10 to 30, you're going to get clients faster and quicker because you've increased the quantity. I mean, I can't make that any more clear. And if you are one of our coaches, listen to this. Like, you don't need to call me and tell me that. It sounds like I'm chastising people. I'm not. I'm just trying to be very frank that if you got the question, how do I do this quickly? Increase your frequency. Start there. You're going to worry about efficiency and message down the road. Start with your frequency. Always start with I don't really know if my message, whatever. Work on your message over time. Well, if I say the wrong things, and you're going to. I don't care how good you are. I do it. Increase your frequency. Increase your frequency. There's your answer. Like, you can go kill it. You can go get 2 clients this month in January by the end of the month if you increase your frequency. I don't even know how to say it any better than that. Now, are there rule breakers? There's always rule breakers. There's always outliers. Sure. Frequency is number 1. The next one is going to be your message. As you increase your frequency, you now begin to work on your message. So if I'm using the phone, and I'm reaching out to a cold list, what's that message? Sure, it's a script, but it's really a message. Like, what are you going to say? That message or another way to say it is, what's the purpose of that phone call? Or if you're sending a cold email, what's the purpose of that cold email? So here are some things that you could consider. Number 1, your purpose could be a direct ask to invite them to an assessment. In our done-for-you system, one of the ways that we close clients is using a really strategic assessment where we drill down into the numbers of that business. We call it the 100K challenge. That's a very specific, strategic way on how we approach that. All right. So the purpose of that call could be just a direct message. Now that you got to be skilled at doing that, but by and large, that could be it. Or an invitation to an event. Maybe you're going to do a workshop. So you could make it. You could make that message an invitation to an event. If you know them or you know of them, again, it could be a text message, an email, a phone call. Let's say that I know the prospect through a friend, but I've never met the prospect. So I could say, hey, Mike, BJ here, Business Coach Mastery. I'm a business coach strategist, and you and I, we go to the same doctor, or we know this person from our church, or whatever. Like you're connecting the dots, which I'm going to get into in just a moment. So you invite them in that way. Hey, I'd love to get to know you more, and I'd love to chat with you, coffee. Let's meet here, there, and so on. You could send them your book. If you've authored a book, which we do that in our system, if you've authored a book, you could say, hey, listen, I'm a business strategist. I'm looking to help 25 businesses this year. I would love to give you one of my books. Can I send one to you? Like that could be the purpose of your message, a version of that. Or let's say you're going to write a second book and you're going to do some interviewing. You're going to interview business owners. That could be the purpose of your call or your email. Hey, I hope you've been getting value from what you're hearing in this episode. We're going to split this message up. We're going to continue what we're talking about today on our next episode. If you're curious about starting your business coaching practice, you want to learn more about it, go to businesscoachmastery.com. That's businesscoachmastery.com. There's also a place that you can click to book a time to talk to myself or someone on our team about how you can start your own business coaching practice as well. All right. Until next time, take care.